Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to our council meeting on July 2026. I am not Mark Clark. I am the Vice Chair, Philip Dowd, but welcome nevertheless. I'll just do the housekeeping now before we begin. There are no planned fire alarms. If the alarm should sound, please exit the building using the nearest available fire exit. Once leaving the building, please make your way to the muster point, which is located by the staff car park and is identified by a green sign positioned in the truck bed. Please make yourself known to a member of staff on duty. Members of staff are seated here. This meeting may be recorded, and the meeting may also be broadcast by the press and members of the public. Please see Section 8 of the Guidance for Public Participation, including recording and use of social media at meetings. So we'll start with item number 1 this evening, and that's apologies. Do we have apologies, please?
Ashley Smith and also Paul.
Thank you very much. Moving on to item 2, declarations of interest. To note any declaration of interest by members in connection with an agenda item, members to specify a direction of interest. Do we have any? Alex?
It's not peculiar, but item 13 does relate to ongoing police work dealing with residents.
Right, thank you. Chairman?
I'm actually a bit sprawled on this. I actually don't think that's an interest because it's just doing the job. I don't think it's an interest there is.
I think I'll allow the officers to tell us that. Well, the first yes, do we have any evidence? No, Chair. Thank you very much.
The chair that I speak today.
You can't do it.
Very impressive feature way, live on it, and put ourselves.
Thank you very much. Okay, we'll move on to item 3, and I'm delighted to present Simon Quincy, Coast to Coast Sustainable Transport Group, to address the meeting.
Excuse me, unless I'm missing it, we do have members of the staff here. Do we not usually do that first?
I haven't had any instructions to change the order of the agenda. Are you proposing we vote to change the order of the agenda?
I'm making that in case there
I'll
are.
repeat my question. Are you proposing to change the order of the program tonight?
I'm saying that.
Okay, we will vote on that then. Thank you. Members, the motion is to change the order of the agenda to change items 3 and 4 around in their position. In favour, if you raise your hands now, please. Thank you. Those not in favour and any abstentions, then that is carried. So we will move to item number 4 first then, and I will welcome Anna Worthington, our Community Police Officer.
Thank you.
Good evening, Anna.
Sorry for the confusion, I'm not in uniform because I've had information, so I'm currently semi-restricted, so wearing a uniform obviously I think was to have members in public who will be expected to get involved, then I can't at this time. But yeah, so good evening everyone. I'm sure that there's been lots of things happening in Hyde at the moment and Zipton. Our team is quite inundated with requests and information about what we are doing as a team. So if I can just run through some of them first, obviously the things that we know are going on is the ASV in Hyde and Zipton. What's been raised with us has been predominantly it's been the vehicles, which we always get every month, every 3 months. Vehicles size away. challenging when poorly ground, amongst others, London Road as well. Lots of reports, not so much through our system, but emails from members of the public with concerns around vehicles speeding, adapted vehicles, noise and antisocial driving, drifting, etc. We always get this. How can we solve it? What we are doing at the moment is I'm planning and help with our team. I'm the only one at the moment who is speed trained on our team, but I am being allowed to go out to do that. The team, Sergeant Glenn Wilshire is arranging for the other members of the team to be trained in the speed gun. I have, so what I'm looking at is dotting up at these different areas at different times, because I am aware that the ASB, it's not just in Hyde, we have our big things that we can start addressing at the moment, but it's no good us doing it between 8 and 4 and, 10 and 2, because it seems to be later at night. So we have got, obviously late shifts where I requested the RPU, which is the road policing unit, can attend. Obviously they can attend, but their priorities are, grade 1 fatal accidents that they have to take priority. And we understand that. I've also reached out to local speed watch teams to see if they would like to join us, or if we can come up with a plan, different timings, to go at these locations. Where there will be a police officer with them, because I'm very mindful that they get some very unkind comments made to them and gestures from members of the public when they realise that they are, volunteering basically, and they just clear the information for us. I've also reached out to the roads, Safer Roads policing team. They are different to the RPU, and they will sit up and fix camera vans. Also, Gavin Thornton, who I've worked with before, challenging running through with motorcyclists. What they do is they will come out and they will assess these areas to see whether they, do like a tester really, to see whether they're finding recorded any high speeds, which they then detect the location to see if they can safely plot up to obviously do the speeding. And we've had quite a lot of tickets issued, which I think I've already sent me by speaking to you now. But the speeding ticket, the results of the speeding tickets, I also put them all on the Facebook page and I post them.
Yeah, I've seen them. It's on your Facebook.
They're all on there. So every time we get we do advertise it on there. As you can imagine, we have lots of negative comments on there as well about when it comes to this location, etc. But we have to look at what are our problem areas, because everyone will think there's a problem in their area of speeding, but unfortunately we can't be able to do that.
You have had quite a bit of positive feedback on children who go home with them. So,
what I understand is that, we are trying, we don't gain, because people think that we just get money for giving out tickets, that's not the case. What we're trying to do is make that a safer place for people. There's a school there, it's a built up area. If I lived there, then I would be wanting kids to be there, and that's what we're looking at, different locations. So hopefully we'll get some results from that. I am trying to organise the local lunches with our team as well, but it's just around timings of who's on duty at the time. So that is in progress for that one. I think that's fire at Collins Front. So we always get that every year, and I'm sure it's going to be worse during the Christmas holidays. Obviously, cameras that net review don't cover right down there, but they cover the access to it. We've had numerous meetings with fire and can do joint patrols with them. So that lets them arson patrols. We go with prevention, we go to the locations which have previously been targeted. So it shows presence really what we can do working with fire. Because my thing is, we can do fire patrols, but we're not fit to deal with them if we come across them. So we've got someone in the fire service working together, we can give more information and look at that sort of thing. We've had some positive searches in Hyde. for, obviously I can't go into too much detail, but for possession of drugs and offensive weapons. And that information really has been coming from the ATSOs, who are absolutely fantastic. I couldn't ask that they email us on a daily basis with any information they have, offering to do joint patrols, sending us footage, if they can give it out into the public. So to me, they are a massive help to our team. And yeah, they're absolutely brilliant. I don't know what we don't have it at our areas, but we haven't got any ACSO, so we have consulting with them plants we like that with brilliant.
And here is top, but they had a slightly different function.
Yeah, but Charlie and Mike are absolutely fantastic. I don't know what we do without them. They're not very good. So yeah, if you can pass that, I always tell them that you can pass that on to them as well. Just in relation to the shoplifting, we seem to have had a dip with people reporting shoplifting. And I know in the past it's because nothing was really done, etc., etc. When I took on this role, I went to every shop in time and I gave out my card. And I said, I'm based at Hartley. Please report it through 101. But send me an email if you've got any problems at all within the village. But we can have a look at today. I think I've had one since no one contacts us. So, and also through the 101 shoplifting is come right down, whether that is because there is some shoplifting or because it's people aren't reporting. And on the shoplifting, I'd like to say that we have really struggled getting CCTV from people in the village for shoplifting. Or if we've got a job that's happened, say a theft of a bicycle, and surrounding properties have CCTV. We've had that recently where PCSOs had to go back continuously into the village to get the CCTV sent in links, having permission to release the CCTV. So it's making it very difficult for us to then progress that. Because sometimes the CCTV is then overridden and we lose that evidence. And we haven't recently to go back to one particular case 5 or 6 times and keep chasing that. We just can't do that. We haven't got time to do that. So what else do we have there? Okay, so this is the one that's coming to front at the moment, is the Harvard Promenade, with the ASB that's moving into their parking. With people doing pubs or incidents in areas, shouting and, quite merry, having a bit of an impact on the residents. In relation to that, people seem to keep saying this Lord Nelson, but in actual fact, people may go to the Lord Nelson, but they also go into other places in their life. It's not just there. We can't attribute all the ASB to that on the premises. However, we have spoken to Paul Dimmer from licensing, who is going to go with Salford to Lord Nelson, to speak how they can assist police and the community. I think one of the suggestions is to have plastic glasses when they're drinking outside. We can't say that all the cars parking there were attributed to Lord Nelson because we just, and in actual fact, parking is not really for us to be dealing with unless it's causing an obstruction. That's not what we do. Also, I appreciate it's not helpful. Last weekend, we had 2 pairs of officers and PCSOs taking turns Friday, Saturday and Sunday, walking around the village in the evenings to see that there were no disruptive behaviour. Actually, that's brilliant. So we are listening to what people are telling us. We always urge people to read them through 101. I think I've looked in those reports for them of traffic wardens getting some abuse from people or the enforcement. We haven't had reports directly to us. So what I spoke to Charlie about, so they reported to Charlie, or they report it to themselves, but it's not going through the correct channel. So we haven't got an aggrieved person who's ringing us saying, I was at this place at this time and I was physically abused, and this is what we said or whatever. So it's very, so if we can get that out there for people to report and it's to the police so that we can start collating what is going on, if that's going to be the problem. I think as the summer comes along, people are going to become more to hide us and lucky place to come. And I can see the ASB and social behaviour of the youths. And definitely in the village as well, and it does everything. So for us, it's about patrolling by time and out, and trying for disruption and dealing with any of this has worked with us. So. But obviously what also I've been asked to bring up to you is that I know that all these things have an impact on the village, but we also deal with safeguarding, vulnerability, risk and harm, and sometimes that will take priority over in a social area. And you know, I love my job. We're coming up to 2 days rest days and we have a stack of stuff that's been rejected. It could be burglaries, it could be vulnerabilities, and we have to go through about safeguarding things, high risk domestics. I think people maybe have some misconception that we just do community things. There is a lot of things that city want to learn that may take priorities over what people see us doing. One good thing is that the skate park is going to be obviously renovated. I applied to the NPCC for that and we've got £7,500 and other organisations have also given money and things for that. So I know that there is a painting day that the team have all changed their shifts around so that we can go and help that with the young persons who are living there and they're assisting. And then they also have an event again, which hopefully will be really successful. And we'll try to change some shift patterns for that as well. And for me, I've worked in the Emperor for a long time, and I have an investment in children and areas who may be struggling to provide some sort of something for these kids, because there is not a lot anymore. There used to be youth clubs and that Handy Trust were a fantastic job in life. But I think the young people being outside, enjoying things, doing things they like, and getting involved in maybe doing the skate park will prevent it being damaged and stuff. We can't. That's what we hope. That's what I retire next year and hope when I leave it's all up and running and everything's going on. But we know there's going to be blips in it. But for me, that's a big achievement to be able to think like we spoke to all the young kids and met with you who were really excited about it. And it's nice and I've had I think we're going to do a good job. Whether it lasts, I don't know, but we can but try. So to know about them because I know they want to art these skate park when they do that it's really successful and they have no damage or anything there. And they're regular events, so hopefully it goes well and we can arrange some stuff and police and team can go down there and stress and with the ACSO. So I'm really looking forward to that. The only other thing we have been working with Charlie is there's reports of drug usage, which we obviously have to look at evidence and then hopefully be robust. I know there's been a few stop searches, and that's in mine as well. And we've had someone that has moved into the area that's concerned about the mid bar, with their opening hours, etc. Again, that's only one report through details. And you always think that's it. And that's what I'm doing in school. I just got a mid bar here, but yeah, I mean, you can't, at the end of the day, it's summer, people are going to be drinking and going to be quite happy when they leave. Unfortunately, if you live next to a public house at night, you can't do anything about that. Unless there are drinking birds, it's not what you can do about sledge restaurants and things, isn't it? We can just work with door staff and just try and minimise the impact it has. And that is it for me.
I thank you very much for coming along this evening and giving us an update on what's going on. I will open the floor to questions.
I don't know myself.
That's brilliant. So happy if we go round the table. Any questions? If they are particularly long or complex questions, it might be better to contact you by email because of the amount we've got to fit in the meeting tonight.
I've noticed there's appearance again of the nitrous oxide cylinders of tearing up in places. Have you picked up on that?
So I think probably where they've had the end of school parties and leavers and stuff like that hasn't helped. It went away for quite a while and it has been showing up in Sutton as well. So we are aware of the areas because we work with the Handy Trust. They work us again. They're really Amy. she's very good at giving us locations where these people are. So we do judge that they are reappearing. And it just seems to be a cycle for one time every day, so every list, nitro, canisters that we are aware of it, trying to keep on top of that.
First of all, thank you very much for your very comprehensive report. I want to make a comment that we seem to have had recently more police monitoring speed in our community than we have for a very long time, which is very positive. One final point is, it was really that we spoke about the parking rules being threatened. And I take it forward, I will mention, able to make an issue that should report it. It was just spoken about. Thank you for spoken.
No, I mean, things are saying we're all here to do a job, and we don't want them going out worrying about being abused by someone about parking, because at the end of the day, it's not supposed to be parking there, they shouldn't be parking, and it's their job to challenge that and to give tickets, etc. That's what they're going to do. And we will support them 100% by being very invested, because, you know, we say we're all here to do a job, aren't we? So just if they do come, if they want to report it, we can
I'll pass that on.
as we want.
Yeah, obviously on top of the common art issue, obviously you mentioned antisocial behaviour. Obviously there have been examples that I've been made aware of possible drug use, drug taking, and aggressive and intimidating behaviour to residents. So obviously that falls within the say.
Yeah.
Are you getting reports of this, and is this something your patrol will be looking out for? If you, you know, it's not associated with verification, but they're there where they probably shouldn't be, and it's not fair.
We've had a few reports of kids jumping over that down that area where they shouldn't be. Drug taking, not really. Haven't really had anything like that being reported that I'm aware of. I can obviously have a look at it. And again, if people are being, people are being arrested to live in the village, they report it to us, then we can look at the CCTV evidence we have. I don't know how many offenders are. So just look at that. They're not reporting as far as I know. But I will check.
You encourage people to report online as well, because with respect, obviously on the call, but online can I quicker.
Yeah, and I'll be absolutely honest with you. I had a conversation with someone from Marchwood yesterday who was wanting to report something, and we have regular contact with him and go to Marchwood, and he was saying that he was on 101 for absolutely about 45 minutes. And then he went to report it online, and it said on there, and I had done this myself, said on there, have we been helpful? And he said, actually, no, we haven't. And they said, okay, we'll transfer you to speak to somebody. Like, thank goodness for that. And then some half an hour, it might be more than that, he was still hanging on, so he gave up. So, yeah. Just so, yeah, so I thoroughly understand why people get on that phone when I want to reach, you know what? Because, no, that's being honest, because they haven't got time. You know, they want to get on with their roles, or they're working, or so I do understand. And I can feed that back. I'm not sure who I would feed it back to, somebody, but I've already spoken to this chap yesterday, but we need to raise it somewhere. Whether it's because we haven't got lots of operators, or maybe it's large, or even people ringing, I don't know. Because it's 101 is all in Hampshire, and I go off, so I don't understand that. So.
Hi, yeah, I'm Chris. Thanks very much for the report. And the report you gave on speeding, I'm aware of the excellent deployments that have been on Challenger Way, and also on Beauty Road, where there's a regular, not regular, but occasional speed camera vans spot. I do understand there's a restriction to where those speed camera vans can be located, but there's less restriction to where these motorcycles can be located to carry out enforcement. There's a couple of questions. I didn't quite catch which roads you plan to carry out enforcement on.
I am looking at ones that have been raised to us as Challenger Way, which we always do Challenger Way. And I really don't understand why residents and people that have got on thought actually we're going to keep getting tickets because we're not going on Hawley Road. So the one that goes obviously up to Harley, it goes from 60 and it comes down, doesn't it? They just tend to zip along there. And you know, it's right near a residential road with kids in it and view, etc. And I think that's what I'm definitely looking at. I think Lime Kiln Road's another one.
Uncle Lane.
Lane, yeah. And then Ralston Road. So Ralston Road, I got out there about 6 months ago with PCSO, and there's a really good spot that you can go where the bus stop is, and you get a really good view of them coming from that direction down Ralston Road and from the forest in that way, without then being able to put their cameras on before I can get them. So that would be another one, would be Ralston Road.
Fantastic, thank you.
Is there any other roads that you?
Well, that's my next question is,
Yeah.
you know, we have the speed indication device.
Yes, I'd love to show you the tomorrow and I to pick that up somewhere. We just need to decide because they do move it around for us.
Yes, so, but we can actually give you some data of where we can detect that. All we can do is tell what portion of vehicles, how many vehicles are speeding on a particular road.
Yeah.
But would that be helpful to you?
So I can send that to them. Do you like mine? Yes, ACSO sends that to me. And that's the one he said. I think he's not at work at the moment or prior to going on the present.
So you're
So I
doing
can have that, so I am getting that.
And just a quick question on Speed Watch.
Yes.
Now, Speed Watch, there's some very different people do that. I'm aware of data from other Speed Watch organisations elsewhere in Hampshire where they've caught local drivers 50 times speeding. And they can't do anything.
No.
All that happens with Speed Watch, the maximum that happens is a letter.
Yeah.
If you're going to, and if they're getting abuse, and I understand that actually needing a police officer when they go out,
That's what we go.
right? But if you're having a police officer going out,
Yeah.
why couldn't that police officer, if they're trained,
Yeah.
and then talk about training for officers, actually carry out actual speed enforcement? You see what I mean? Rather than accompanying people doing it with an unenforceable, detection of getting abuse.
I think that it takes away what they want to do though. So what they do is they want to show that they are proactive.
But the purpose is to speeding, not to make people feel that they're doing something by going out with the camera they've been trained to use with the can't issue tickets.
This is a terrible idea. I think they give people a chance.
Yeah, absolutely.
So they will go and say, okay, there's loads of cars that are speeding in this area. These are the ones we've got them sending the letters out.
Yeah.
That all gets documented on our system. Then we may go there a month later, police officer, and do it as well. I understand what you're saying. It's not really something I've thought of, to be fair. We just go and support them. They call us. It's on our channel, on the police channel, we're informed that we see watch people there. But they're similar so that they can,
I was just going to say, Julie, CCTV, like, to be local council, is that the private CCTV shops or the NFTC?
Not the NFTC, the NFTC are really good on the help to private shops. And what we do is we send them a link to add it on. Some of the systems are not compatible because the link, they can just upload it straight away and it comes straight to us. We have problems with, I guess I can say, I don't know, but some of the stores over here, only one person can say you download the CCTV and it has to go through the head office, and by the time it gets there, it delays the investigation. Yeah. And the ones in the village, we have actually getting CCTV.
The one that you've summed up very well for us. I remember that was first of all out. I said to council, I'm going to try it. And I tried it back there, which was quite a long time ago. It's terrible. Yeah. And then I've had cases where I needed to ring it. I mean, I was despair.
I know.
I'm actually glad I faced this instead. But
shame, because when I joined, we had all the front offices. So we had the police station, you had Shirley, also Shirley. And you had an SEO, so you had someone there all the time taking records. It's like over that actually. To me, like, it was better because it actually spoke to somebody, not on the line or not typing it, that's how it should be.
Yeah, you could get to know your own members and these people are interesting.
Two things, and I don't know if it applies to Hampshire, but I was in Sussex when I turned off the 60 into a 40.
Yeah.
And the letter from Sussex said, if I was caught by a speed watch a second time in Sussex, then I would be getting a ticket from Sussex Police. So I don't know if that's something that Hampshire, I don't know what's on a Hampshire letter, but I do know what was on the Sussex letter. And the CCTV for work, and I work in Southampton, usually, because it's very difficult for us to download the bit that you kind of need, we tend to record it on a phone, and then we upload that. And we've had officers come in and record it on their devices to upload. So I don't know if that's something that it's the uploading bit is important if someone can just record it. Is that what I do in town?
So what I would say though is you've got to have continuity of evidence, and that at that time that would be fine for us to identify. But if it was to go to court, we'd have to say, okay, well, they went into the shop, they reported it. If it comes straight from the CCTV, it's clear that's come from there. It's a technical thing around providing evidence to police, and then police, because it comes from one side, so it's happened in the store. Okay, so then you've recorded it, you've sent it in, and we've uploaded it. So there's a lot of stages, and they like to see just a clear continuity of evidence. We can do that in the first instance, but really it's not correct.
In 10 years, I've never been asked to provide more than what we have done or we've allowed them to do.
And obviously, different areas have different ways to do it. I can't comment on stuff. So knowing what I think is right is that we should get it direct from the store, not from someone who works there. It's just, it's just
I think that's half the battle is the CCTV. So I run the arms houses over town. We're restricted. There's only 2 of us got access to the CCTV. So that you end up being in the store, then that's it, and that's because of GDPR, and people should be monitoring it all the time and everything. So it's tricky, and obviously modern systems. Those people don't have a modern system today. Something
we can either see a lot of time we say we can put it on a USB stick and there are no restrictions there. But some of the systems don't have that, and then the link we send it just has it on there. Some of these systems are a bit old fashioned and they don't work, and I get that. Quickly changes the technology so quickly. We have discs so we have discs that we can download on. A lot of places don't have discs to it. USB, so it's great having this CCTV, but it's thinking about the bigger picture, like how we're going to download this and give it to police or something. And that sounds in individual stores.
Thank you. Maybe we can look at seeing how training can be offered to the storeholders. That might be something the district council might be able to support. Can I thank you again for your time this evening and your generosity in staying to answer so many questions this evening, and we would very much look forward to seeing you back again. Thank you very much.
Anything, but they actually gives you just follow Malcolm, you email me. But it's good because then we know what's going on, We open it from Malcolm and say, right, what's going on now? And I triggered the emails off so that I'm thinking I don't miss anything.
Thank you very much.
But it's really important. We get people to say, we won't do anything. We try. We try as much as we can. So even though we think sometimes people are moaning at us, so rather than say to me, well, this is going on here, what are you doing about it? And I'd say, okay, well, no, you told me, let's see what we can do. And that's all we can do, not just here, a team as a team, So,
one of the things.
Yes, of course, I think you got my email address. You've had it since you sent it, and again, we can put some sort of disruption in place, go out and controls, etc. That'd be perfect. Thank you. We're okay.
Feel free to leave. You don't need to stay for the rest of the meeting if you don't want to, but you're more than welcome to do
Thank
so.
you very much. Oh, it's actually, I changed my shift to come. That's fine.
Thank you.
Well, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Right, we will return to item 3. Thank you for your patience there. And I've welcomed Simon Fitzy, who's going to talk about coast-to-coast sustainable transport. Thank you, Simon.
Well, good evening, everybody, and thank you for giving me the chance to put forward these ideas for a less insecure future. Right here at the ferry. I hope everybody can hear me. To introduce myself, Transition Livingston has been working on sustainable transport south of the A35 with Friends of Brockenhurst and other station groups, plus green groups in our area, and collectively we're called Coastal Forest. What we're proposing is the extension of the New Forest Breezer Bournemouth to Livingston interurban service B1 that was previously the X1 across Beaulieu Heath to a primary interchange at Hyde Pier for passengers to transfer by ferry to Southampton. In terms of transport strategy, the redefined Bournemouth to Southampton bus service would form just one of three so-called primary corridors linking market towns and interchanges, the latter being our stations and ferry piers. These routes, the interurban bus routes, do the heavy lifting in our area, and there is a schematic map before Marcus can circulate back to councils if they haven't had it. So this could be the journey to Southampton, starting from Bournemouth bus station, then a small detour into Bournemouth Hospital, then the primary exchanges at New Milton, then Livingston Town, passengers transferring from West Wales by ferry and rail. And finally, a primary interchange at Hyde Pier for passengers transferring to Southampton. So that's the vision, and what follows is the strategy to get there. Who is in the target market for this service? We are saying, put aside a widespread preconception that because the forest has an older age profile, most people will never give up the convenience of their cars. We say focus instead on 17 to 29 age group, lacking affordable transport options, living and working in our market towns. I'll return to shortly. Why is this needed? Southampton is, of course, key. Of the 30,000 daily outcommutes from across our area, around 12,000 are heading to Southampton and Eastleigh. So this is the integral bit. How is this relevant to steering the Pier ferry? Our message is that the Hyde Pier ferry needs to function as a primary interchange, not merely as a local interchange, serving just a local traffic. And to function as a primary interchange, it needs to be connected. And Hyde Pier, that means bus links with the market towns. Who would use the service? We have a combined population, believe it or not, of 100,000 across the coast and waterside. And our Breezer 81 bus service, extended across Beaulieu, has one big task: to tap into this large population, particularly those on the coast, that's 57,500 people, and to secure a good share of the traffic across the Southampton via the Hyde Pier interchange. And one other thing, our coastal market towns on the waterside are a single economic area, and both have close ties to Southampton. Transport infrastructure needs to support this economic area, improving access to employment with apprenticeships and training opportunities, notably again the 17 to 29 age group, which we're focused. And with the £2 bus fares, we should add another function as an amenity route for residents and visitors between the coastal market towns, Beaulieu, Southampton, and Hyde Pier. How do we deliver this? We say all stakeholders, including those supplied, of course, will need to plan this together. That means addressing the current issues with Breezer 81, its lack of directness and overlong end-to-end journey times. There are quite a few problems with this route which we're fixing. Planning authorities also factoring in an extended 81 service when looking at development sites, and channeling public investment into bus prioritisation measures at congestion hotspots, including within BCP, where the service tends to get pulled back. So what is our ask? The Hyde Parish Council calls on all stakeholders to develop a sustainable, affordable, resilient, frequent and direct transport link targeting frequent bus users, that's the 17 to 29-year-olds, between BCP and Southampton, via New Milton, Livingston and Beaulieu, with a primary interchange at Hyde Pier. And one, to underpin the 17 to 29-year-old group training and working, particularly in the marine engineering skill set across our area, that's where the better paid jobs are, and provide sustainable transport options, both for two, the large captured population across the coast, and three, visitors to our area. That's me done.
Thank you very much. I will open open to some questions. Again, can I just remind you, councillors, that we have got a lot on the agenda. So if you've got longer questions, can you save them for an email later? So Alex first, please.
Just to make a quick point, can I ask you to consider 16 to 29 instead of 17 to 29? Because your concept of particularly younger people and college age people looking for jobs, if that is the service that I used sporadically when I worked at Billington and came from High on occasions, that is lost now. And so younger people can look for jobs all around, you know, whether at college, 16, 17, real opportunity. I completely support the concept of it, and also you are encouraging people to go and visit high streets, have an afternoon, enjoy restaurant spots. Even before a ferry comes back, we're encouraging people to spend money in other local businesses. So as my full support, I would look at 16, so you have school leavers and those part-time jobs, so young people can travel to them, but they don't have a car.
Yeah, no, thank you. Very fine, absolutely, totally fine with that. Good point.
Yeah, hi, I'm Bev Webster. I think it's a fantastic idea. I hugely support any initiatives for improving bus service and High Ferry. But I just want to ask if you consider one issue that might arise with your idea. Your bus, the number 81 that you're suggesting, would go to the High Pier, and then people come off the bus and get the train down or walk down the pier, and then get the pier ferry to Southampton if the ferry could be returned. So if the bus could get there, and then if the ferry could be returned. Unfortunately, I'll tell you what Blue Star will tell you straight away. Your 81 Breezer, it'd be fantastic to have a bus from our community, our parish, don't get me wrong, but your 81 would pass St Andrew's Church on its way to Hyde. Passengers would be far better off getting off there, crossing the road, which would take them 10 seconds, and getting on the bus the other side. It would take only half an hour to take them into the centre of Southampton. It would be far quicker. So that's what Blue Star are doing. Your plan, you can connect in, but you don't need the Hyde Ferry. Now I say this with a heavy heart. I would love there to be a very powerful case that you would bring in all these people with a Boston business case for the Hyde Ferry. But I think that is a challenge that you might face. And I want to think about that. Do you know the geography I'm talking? I'm yeah, the bus would come off the Heath roundabout, cross through Beaulieu, would come to Heath roundabout, it would go down to Hyde through Diblington. It would pass the St Andrew's Church bus stop. Another 9 stops there 3 times an hour, every 20 minutes. Take half an hour from there to get to Central Station, 35 minutes to Towngate. That's the problem with this. Yeah. Why would anyone, unless they like the sea journey, and I would love the sea journey, why would anyone stay on the bus, then pay another fare on that?
Yeah, thank you.
So there you go. What's your thought?
Yeah. Firstly, and I didn't, get down.
Yeah.
I thought, so it would be based on a combined ticket. So you have to be able to get through ticket. There will be a market for not necessarily the 16 to 29 year olds, but there will be a market for those who will want to get across to Southampton, partly because it depends where in Southampton you're aiming. And I think I would say, look, we're talking about very big numbers. The 12,000, what was I say, 12,000 outcommutes from the forest to Southampton and Easton. It's a big number. You don't need that many to say, right, it's actually more convenient or whatever it is. I prefer to go this particular way than they sit on the bus. So we're looking at a share of the traffic in Southampton rather than saying, slam dunk, this is how everyone's going to go. So I think that would be my argument. But look, many people, it is going to come down to flying costs and how you get, combined tickets to be competitive with bus tickets, costs and bus. That's a challenge. This is not going to be easy. Thank you.
To move to sports, we've had a request for this character. We have always supported public transport, always wanted to look at better bus service across this really got. I suggest this goes along the agenda for Jupiter, but for construction. It's a future meeting. You had a request to support it. It's not something you can left side now. So I looked to Clark. Is that acceptable?
Absolutely fine.
There you go.
Super job. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Just before we finish on that one, I would also say we do have a new target group as well, with the more stringent driving restrictions for people who are losing their eyesight and will fail eyesight tests for driving. That's also a consideration across the forest.
In fact, just again, there's another bit that I have to cut out, but bus use increases from 60 plus age group. So I just didn't have time to say it.
Yeah. Absolutely fine. Brilliant. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay. Item 5 minutes. Alex.
Just to say, Chairman, to give quite get to 40, I please pass on my thanks to the 180 so I know that we had one of the incidents for me was the other incident did a huge amount of work and some of the actions here, particularly in regards to the first aid issue, deserves praise. So please pass on our thanks.
Thank you.
Sorry.
Thank you for taking that one out of this. Okay. Moving on to the minutes then. Due to time factors, can I ask if councillors are happy to do this on block rather than page by page? So can I have a proposer? Thank you, Alex, and seconder. Thank you, Stephanie. Thank you very much. Moving on to the next item, announcements from the chair. Well, I'm not really the chair, so I don't have the announcements. So we'll move on to the next one, which is reports by county and district members. Do we have a report from Councillor Paul?
Yes, you've got one. I apologise. I haven't. It's very short.
This is Councillor Barrett.
Learn from it.
Simon Khan. Councillor Barrett, only updates are over the 826 families along with imports for the Harry Capital.
Right.
And I had a meeting with him online, went through the parish council objections to the 826, explained to the fine, getting the budget as he is now on board with where we want to, and so is all council. Apparently Martin council are happy with. Do we do mine now, just me, it's really quick. Since the last meeting, I've attended to deal with a number of meetings, so I've seen around. We also attended children people with collect committees, where we raised the question of LGR, action solved for children, some issues, respectively, and IEL. 50%, nearly 50% of all children in care are looked after outside of Hampshire. I also had a chat with the chief exec about what Hampshire we're going to do with our resources, and he said we will have problems with the JD or LGR, which what's going to happen is not known yet. I'm due to be appointed, I am appointed now by a county to the South West Hampshire Joint Committee involved in setting up the new unitary. And in regards to local activities, we have the roundabout in Barclay, where I passed on our complaints and made myself, which has resulted in some modifications and installation. Now I'm working to try and get these roundabout. I also have asked the regular committee when it deals with the steps application for speak support parish council's views and any of that meeting. One final bit which I haven't done. I will send round tomorrow the response from the South Central Ambulance Service because I've been asking for one for the meeting I had at the beginning of June. I've published it in place, so I will send it to now tomorrow so I can present on council.
Thank you very much. Then we'll move to district reports, and I'll start with Stephanie. Thank you. Alex.
Just in addition to the report I sent you, anyone who has requested additional bins, so for families of 6 adults or more, or all with specific needs, medical needs, haven't had them yet. I'm told there has been an operation delay, and hopefully should be the next 3 to 4 weeks, but I've been chasing that up because a couple of people have been in touch across the district. That's all.
Thank you.
Sure. I think the direct relevance to the branch.
Thank you. Mark.
Yeah, it's a bit of, I'll quickly go through it. I've already sent it out. Following the Brock Council by-election, Conservative administration impacts and green no and all controlled, instead of being one less. And once again, I've attended a number of meetings. What is of interest, visual out to position 25-26 for the general fund and housing revenue account. Once again, maintain other spends and extra income. The general fund requirements, there is a level of positive variation of £1,424,000 compared to original budget. The original budget was 25,509,000, but it turned out to be 24,085. This allows administration to use 500,000 to State's Pension Reserve and 91,000 to enhance the corporate priority reserve. A further consolidation of 186,000 for other services in the corporate priority reserve to support the review of the corporate council. The HR revenue looking at a late surplus statement of 80,000. So you can see actually the budget is very well, and the council still contains the new forest and do a great job for this economy. I continue to remind them that we have a higher percentage of children with critical ability and Hampshire, meaning that is really poverty. The answer by the league member we want to get more people employed, but we have quite low unemployment. These fees the children who are critical bills, but the parents are working, they don't work for money, are statistically poverty. The last council meeting, the last bit here, the NFBC, this is quite important. To elect a council to select South West Hampshire Youth Council, one which I've been appointed to by the county, which oversees the so if you put forward an experienced Waterloo councillor, Chairman Councillor Mark Clark, and the Conservatives put forward their leader, who is a councillor in New Milton, and also proposed to be able to be that joint committee as well, which wants to be on too. It's totally democratic. Put forward a candidate to represent the Waterside who was not elected there and therefore stand up straight authority in that area. I wrote, every council was not in the two main groups, plus the three Conservatives and four. All the councillors voted for Mark, except Conservatives were voted for the standard, and the two Reform councillors, thus proving that politics were more important than representing the Waterside. However, I and Councillor Harrison Scotland will represent the Waterside on that.
Thank you. Mine's slightly longer than I normally do, but I think there are some quite important items here, so I will go through them. On the 30th of June, I attended the local plan working group. A decision has been taken to take a strategic option for a realigned pivot. I considered there's a risk of this. Considered that there is a risk of missing the December deadline for feedback from strategic partners required for the plan to progress. A decision will be taken at Cabinet on 5th of August, with ratification of full council in September. The current local plan holds until it's superseded, even though it is technically out of date. I'll miss out the next item because it's not so relevant. On the 2nd of July, we had the Falling Waterside briefing. Public consultation was finished. 3 pre-application meetings have been held with the district and a transport meeting with the county. The outline plan is now fully within the district council boundary. Retention of the dock roads and public footpaths. The Environment Agency is advising on flood defence. There is an undertaking not to disrupt the coastal path. As usual, there's some confusion about the naming of various roundabouts, including the Heath roundabout. On the 8th of July, I attended a planning briefing. Significant changes to local planning are going to be implemented on the 31st of October. 2 schedules. Schedule 1 will all be delegated to officers. This includes household applications and parish concerns. Schedule 2 will be heard by the planning committee only if the legal officer and chair of planning agrees that it's a significant planning matter or is a significant social or environmental concern. If it broadly combines with local plan, it will not be referred. This effectively removes a local voice and oversight for planning matters. There will no longer be town and parish referrals. Call-in powers, where a local councillor may ask for a local planning issue to be referred to committee, has also been abolished. That concludes the district council reports. Do we have any outside body reports, please? Steph?
Yeah, just a brief one. I attended Milton School. I was invited to go and see the vegetable garden, and I think a few of us have donated towards that. It's absolutely amazing. It's brilliant. People walking by and wondering what's going on. This is good. And I also did water testing on the 28th of June, which is testing on our local waterways, and it's turning out to be a really interesting project.
Thank you. I've had one outside body report, and that is I'm delighted to be able to announce that Brenda Smith has agreed to take over chairmanship of Watercan. Since Councillor Osborne and I formed Watercan back in 2022, it was always my intention to step down as chairman as soon as the group was ready. It took at least a year longer than I anticipated, but I will still continue as a member. Thank you.
I went to the Support Consultative meeting. I was only there for the first part, of which some of you were invited here to speak to ADP, and that information was still commercially sensitive until we know otherwise, and therefore, I have to say I went.
Thank you. That's concludes the reports. So we now have the public forum. Do we have any written questions, Member Council? Thank you. Do we have any members of the public who would like to speak? Philip, come on.
Yeah. Well, I have a question, and just got three thoughts. Simon's gone now, but as you know, there's only two days the buses run from Hythe to Leamington. I've also been looking at the demographic curve of this area, and you've got a spike from the 70 to 80-year-olds and another spike from the 50-year-olds. Very high numbers there compared to obviously other. Also, if my memory is right, you've got more people over the age of 80 than under the age of 10. If my numbers are, it might be over the age of 60, but I believe it's over the age of 80 rather than 10. And as I say, I was going to mention the latest idea of the government is to chase, I'm looking for words, chase those drivers with poor eyesight over the age of 70. And that means more public transport is needed, especially if you want to go to Leamington, because the last bus coming from Leamington on a Tuesday or Thursday, to my memory, leaves about 1:30 in the afternoon. All the other buses end in Dock Lane, down in Bewley. I'm not sure where people go from there. They don't even end in the museum where you could be back in a car or, but you've got to get out into Dock Lane and walk into Hythe. I'll leave it there. Thank you very much.
Thank you. That actually came out in the when they gathered evidence for the new local plan. The fact that we have a demographic of people at the age of 50 moving to the area because they can afford to move to the area with their families. So that's different from the previous local plan. I say previous one because this one won't happen now, but you know what I mean. Thank you for that. Do we have any more questions?
I'd just like to say,
Could you introduce yourself first?
yes, I'm Linda Bratchett and I live on the promenade.
Thank you.
When the police officer was saying you can't just blame Lord Nelson for all problems in Hythe, all I can say is I frequent quite a few of the pubs in Hythe, and I've never seen anybody urinating outside seashells. I've never seen anybody urinating outside Ebenezer's. But I have on many occasions seen people publicly urinating right in front of my window, not even in the bushes, just, and it's, yeah, and on people, but I haven't seen them. So,
I'm hearing what you're saying, and I think really the only answer I can give you is that every time it needs to be reported, because basically it works if they have more and more reports of issues going on, it escalates up the priority list.
Sorry, so she was saying problems with 101.
Yes.
So how do I report it?
Well, I'm afraid that is, I mean,
That's just
phoning up or going online are the only options, although you can also email. Yes, so be very happy to give you the email at the end of the meeting.
Can I just confirm, yesterday, our ACSOs made a formal request to NFPC CCTV to carry out more monitoring of the cameras on the farm. NFPC agreed, and the monitoring will be stepped up, and anything that is noticed will be reported.
Just, my name's Mark James, I live on the promenade. Problem is that the camera doesn't go down to the Lord Nelson, does it?
I don't know.
It doesn't.
They've not told me that.
No, it doesn't.
Do you know that for a fact?
I mean, I can't, I mean,
I can check with them.
I'm pretty informed that because of various reasons, because as you know, it's basically like a kebab shop, isn't it? And you've got trees, shrubbery, it just won't. I don't know who I spoke to at the council, but yeah.
I will email you Worthington, I will email CCTV.
Yeah. But as far as, and also, just, I actually did have a chat with that lady as she left, because I disagreed with about 90% of what she had to say. So I felt I had to correct her, and she was very accommodating. But also, one of the problems we have, there are so few residents who actually live on that area. One of the properties vacant. We have 2 flats, and we have 2 other properties, and one is quite a way away. So it's, and I reported every single link. When she said she had no report of the traffic warden, I reported that on the night. She also reported it to her senior management. What they did with it, obviously, I don't know. But everything that I see, and I think Alex can perhaps back me up with this, I report up, and I will spend 50 minutes waiting for that.
Yeah.
And to be honest, just to come back to 101, some of the operators you get to speak to are very good. Some are excellent, and I praise them for their diligence. So if you get through to the right one, they are excellent. But everything's logged that goes on down there. So
all I can say is I commend you for keeping up with it, doing that. And if more people did that, we would have things that
but there is just a lack of.
Yeah. But you are doing all the right things in terms of logging that. That's all we can ask you to do.
I'm told. No, I appreciate that. So that's, but I do believe, anecdotally, that there are patrons of the Nelson who actually do report stuff that they see going on that they don't report, which is quite interesting.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, well, as long as we keep reporting obviously that isn't acceptable, then I think that really is all we can do. Thank you for your contributions this evening. Moving on to the next item, we have questions from councillors to councillors, and again, can you please keep them brief? If they're complicated, can you please do them by email? Alex.
2 questions. One is Chairman Ware. Firstly, it's mainly a statement to you, Councillor. Can you please make on your South West committee really dig deep into how we're going to work on adult social care and children's services, how that's going to be managed with respect to the authorities? That's something to take away. Please make that priority because it's a complicated matter. My question to Councillor Dowd is, can you clarify if there is any change with how parish councils are going to be doing planning? Bear in mind the other changes I massively disagree with. Will we still have planning?
My My understanding, and I haven't seen the full notes from the meeting. These are just the notes I took from the meeting, and some of them, having looked at them afterwards, I'm sort of struggling to read because I was trying to write so fast. My understanding is that parish and town council's involvement is going to be very, very much reduced to making, basically commenting as a partner on the ones that actually get to that sort of stage. But I think it is going to be a very different scenario moving on. Hopefully, you will be able to see the presentation slides on the district council site and see in more detail. But my understanding is that we are going to see probably less than a quarter of what we normally see as councillors going forward. Councillor Wade.
First of all, quick answer to Alex. The unitary committee will not dealing with services. It's dealing with the mechanic of setting up the council. Shadow authority, which will be elected next year, will deal with that. And isn't sure in fact that Orchard Junior School during the heat wave was so bad that one child was missing hospital for 2 days, and other children were sick on site, very poorly. And the head teacher complained to me, I mentioned it to those of you that also governors and schools about this, and I have written to the Hampshire County Council requesting that air conditioning or air cooling system is put in the school to manage it, because they do have capital funding to do it. And the reason is that we must accept the fact that climate has changed, and the climate that we have had this year will not be isolated, and we must look after our children. We have duty of care to look after children. We have a duty of care to give them an education in an environment where they can learn safely and not be poorly when it gets a hot day. And also, it also comes alive over the grounds, because we've got to shut the school, we've got to take time to do it. I mentioned this now so any other councillors, government of school can find out that their school is a similar situation. I think for elections as well, council right and everything.
Thank you, Councillor. I am aware, and as an ex-teacher, I'm also aware of the legal position where basically there are no guidelines or heat restrictions in schools, which I think is appalling. So there is no requirement on local authorities to do much about it. I'm also aware that head teachers are responsible for their teachers, so sending them home is a very, very difficult decision to make when conditions become poor. I'm pleased that you're raising that with Hampshire County Council to try and alleviate that problem, but I would suggest it's actually a problem for government to sort out, to make sure that schools operate under the same rules that workplaces do, because they are workplaces for adults as well as being places that we are supposed to keep our children safe. Thank you. Thank you.
Malcolm, as a governor of Applewall, and when I was a governor, which I've come to say, we had a massive issue in the floors which will be facing safeguards which are due. And I'm really glad to do that chat with their team there to see whether or not you can support them as well, because the blind certainly won't do them. That's the only thing the county has suggested.
Thank you.
Ben.
Yeah, just a quick question from Malcolm concerning the 8326 application and the answers. And thank you very much for pursuing answers to questions that we posed. The officers are continuing to stonewall and not answer. Thank you for forwarding the email and reply. Got it today. They have still not answered questions. Will you, this is a very serious matter, we're asking questions in the public interest, which gets to the heart of the business justification of the scheme. Will you continue to press for answers and, if necessary, escalate it to the council?
Well, go ahead now.
So questions.
Yeah, right. First of all, neither of the council is involved in this particular project, because it always has to give we can't be involved in discussions with it. I'm not quite sure what involved is involved. So if I can't do that, then get a joy. I'll send questions to the council to cows come on. But one has to recognise they've taken up position and they're reached a point where they say, this is what we're going to do, this is what I'm going to tell you. There is a limit to what we do. I've had some of those questions twice over, but we get the same answers, right? And there isn't, as much as I can stand it to the highest level possible, but the way this process works is that they will respond, and their boss will say they've responded, and their boss will say they've responded, and then they get to the top say we've responded, that's what we get. I'm happy to take them again if somebody sends me another set of questions. But I'm just explaining what will happen. Just let me know what you want to do a little bit.
Thank you. Do we have any?
My third one is the chairman aware? It's the community spirit awards now, and every councillor can you get nominated for People's Environment Award and the Community Spirit Awards, please, that are announced in September for the Hive Activity Day, which also promote. You can all nominate at least 1 or 2 people, maybe more. Ben, he ended up picking the Environment win last year, so please all nominate. Please remember it's the community. You will have come across local heroes in the last 12 months. Every one of you has to nominate at least 1 person.
Thank you, Alex. Moving on to question 11, please. So we've got item 11, which is still.
So I'm like the question, but
you need to move on now, Ben. If you have a question, can you email it? Thank you. So we are going to ratify the decision of the Amenities Committee to apply for SIL funding, A, to renew the footpath from Beechwood Way to the Flush, and B, to renew the tennis courts at Loads Way. Do we have any comments on this item before we move to that? Shall I take these separately or as a joint lot?
Can you do them separately?
Yes, certainly. So have no questions, no comments, councillors? So we'll take 11A first then. Can we show our support in the usual way? So those in favour, please. Thank you. Those against? Any abstentions? Thank you. And 11B, to renew the tennis courts at Loads Way. Those in favour, please. Those against? Any abstentions? Thank you very much, councillors. Thank you. Item 12 we cannot proceed with because we haven't had the relevant documentation. So this will come to our next council meeting. So I move on to item 13. Promenade, request to install wooden bollards request. To consider a request from NFDC to install wooden bollards on land adjacent to the promenade to deter antisocial parking. Do we have any comments on this item, please? Alex?
Yeah, I will be obviously advocating supporting this. Sorry, I was slightly confused because I item 15 in the agenda, item 13.
I think it'll be sort of Jim.
That's fine, okay. I'm just making a point that at the moment this is a green space, a small place, but important green space promenade that people who shouldn't be are parking fully on or side on, sometimes afternoons and early evenings. And it's actually an area where, young people can seem to play football, who live in the area, which is what's in types of course, to sit there and enjoy the sunshine and some chips and things. And it is not for people's park. So I think there's a wider issue that we discussed on about people shouldn't be parking and probably not full stop. But this is something that councils could do on land as council responsibility. And it would stop people parking there. Because unfortunately, people seem to think they can. And there is and there is alternatives. They can park in when it goes up to 2 hours and after 6 o'clock double car parks free and in 4 instance. So if this maintains this important green fund, stops people parking on it, then I am all for it. It should be used for people to enjoy.
Thank you, Alex. Can I just ask what might be a really dumb question? Am I understanding it that NFDC is wanting to install these bollards itself because it's NFDC land.
Well,
They're not asking us to install them.
no, they're going to install it. The reason they were asking us is because they were aware that councillors commented on problems going on down there. And as you know, the problem is actually parts of it are owned by different people. So they actually hold approval for the land, but we maintain it. So if you then putting it in, they want to come to us to ensure one, that you are back with it, two, to maintenance it.
Can we take it that the maintenance team is happy with
No problems at all.
Fantastic. Malcolm.
Only because we support. Could I also ask? There's a sign up there that says no pump and no on-loading and loading. I've been written to by a member of the public who lives there that says that it's allowed the loading and unloading to the shops, but that.
Could I just answer that for you?
Oh yeah.
All those signs have been replaced today with the correct signage. So that issue is gone.
That was a highways issue, isn't it? Wasn't it?
Yeah.
Okay. So it's sorted, that's good. So do we have, sorry.
Yeah. So defer the interest of this one because of the building. That's right.
Okay.
I propose we do it.
Do we have a seconder?
Question, sorry, Chairman. Just a quick question. So did we just say the shops won't be able to park behind their shops to take delivery?
No.
It's just on the grass area.
Yeah, they will be able to.
Yeah, to be honest, this was just outside the Nelson, to be honest.
So we have the proposer and seconder, and I ask, are those in favour, raise their hands, please. Thank you. Those against, and any abstentions? Thank you very much. Moving on. Insurance schedule. To receive and agree the insurance schedule for 2026-2027. Do we have any comments from councillors on this one? Are we simply noting? Right, we will agree, right. Then, well, put it to the vote then. Those people who agree, please raise your hands. Those people who don't, raise their hands. Those people who don't, that's good. Karen. Lovely. And finally, we have the finance item 15. Firstly, to receive the bank reconciliations for July 2026. This is to note. We all happy with noting that?
Yeah.
Thank you. We do need to approve item B. So it's proposed by Malcolm. Do we have a seconder? Thank you, staff. So can we vote in favour of that? Anyone voting against? Any abstentions? Thank you. And item C, this is to note the variance report Q1 April 1st to 30th of June attached. So I'll be happy with noting that. Thank you. And item D, we will need to agree. Do we have any comments on that one? No, we're good. So can I have a proposer, please? Thank you, Alex. And a seconder. Thank you, Chris. So this is to agree payments made by direct debit. So those in favour, raise your hands, please. Thank you. I don't think we have any. No, so that's unanimous on that one. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much, members of the public, for attending this evening. Thank you very much, officers and councillors, and have a very good evening.
Thanks.